In our previous life, my sister was adopted by a wealthy family while I was taken in by a janitor. The wealthy household turned out to be rife with internal strife, indifferent parents, a bullying brother, until she was ultimately left with nothing. My humble family, however, thrived with warmth. The young heir of that wealthy family even fell for me, the resilient girl from modest means, like something straight out of a soap opera. Consumed by bitterness, my sister killed us both, sending us back to the day of our adoption. This time, she lunged first into the janitor's arms. "Sis, it's my turn to be the leading lady now." What she didn't realize was that true heroines aren't made by circumstance. Reborn together at the orphanage adoption day, we faced two families, the Thompsons and the Martinezes. The Thompsons radiated privilege, the father in tailored suits, the mother dripping in jewels. Their son Ethan Thompson wearing a high school uniform paired with limited edition sneakers. They represented the elite, a business magnate father contributing the city's largest tax revenue, a socialite mother rubbing shoulders with celebrities at galas. Ethan, dubbed the crown prince of their elite circle, lounged arrogantly. The Martinezes stood in stark contrast, work-roughened hands, faded clothes bearing stubborn sweat stains. The husband worked as a school custodian, his wife a cleaner at the same institution. Last lifetime, Sophia had eagerly chosen the Thompsons. Now she practically trampled me to embrace Mrs. Martinez. "Mom, take me home. I'll be your Sophia Martinez from today." Amid her triumphant cries, I approached the Thompsons. As we departed, the orphanage director muttered, "Strange, Sophia always chased status before. Why reject real wealth now?" I knew why. Previously adopted as Sophia Thompson, she'd anticipated princess treatment and a romantic subplot with her brother Ethan. Instead, he'd sneered, "I detest social climbers. We all know you're here for our money." His bullying escalated, home harassment, schoolyard torment, while the Thompsons offered token reprimands. They'd only adopted her because a fortune teller suggested a daughter would bring prosperity. Meanwhile, Ethan became fascinated with me, the scholarship student topping classes by day, helping my cleaner mother by night. "Lily is quite intriguing," he'd say, the rebellious heir drawn to the unbroken spirit. When the Thompsons died, Ethan's legal team ensured Sophia inherited nothing. Months later, he married me, vowing, "Everything I have is yours now." I never enjoyed that wealth. Sophia, driven mad by jealousy, rammed her car into mine days later. This rebirth, Sophia raced to claim my former hardship, the loving home without scheming relatives. What she failed to grasp was that true heroine status isn't inherited, but earned through resilience. Because of this background, Sophia would earn the pity and protection of Ethan, ultimately receiving a fairy tale century wedding. She smiled at me and said, "Lily, this time it's my turn to be the Cinderella. You should taste the bitterness I endured." Sophia's prediction wasn't wrong. Ethan's bullying came even sooner than in our previous life. At school, my head was shoved into a water fountain amid jeering laughter from his lackeys. Just as I started suffocating, Ethan yanked me up by the collar, his smile glinting. "Want my family's money? Fine. Drink every drop from that toilet bowl, each sip earns you $10K. Deal?" His cronies whooped in excitement. I stared at Ethan. This was the same man who'd whispered sweet nothings to me in our past life, now unleashing cruelty without restraint. His gaze drifted past me, locking onto someone behind. I knew Sophia was there, scrubbing floors. "Isn't that Sophia?" someone muttered. "Why's she cleaning?" A lackey snickered. "Her mom's the school janitor. She works nights after classes." Ethan's expression shifted, first shock, then pity. "Hey!" he barked at Sophia. "It's freezing. Quick cleaning. Nobody's checking anyway." Sophia straightened, raven hair cascading over her shoulders, delicate features set with determination. "If inspectors find dirt, Mom loses $100. That's nothing to you. But it's my family's weekly groceries. She resumed scrubbing. The act was transparent, countless floors. Yet she'd chosen this spot near Ethan. Her hair artfully arranged. Posture calculated for maximum allure. Predictably, Ethan fell for it. He snatched her rag, tossing it to his lackeys. Finish this. Noticing her reddened hands, he draped his jacket over her shoulders. How are you getting home? Bike. In this cold? Ethan scoffed. Wait downstairs. My driver'll take you. As Ethan escorted her away, Sophia glanced back, smirking at my drenched form. Soon, everyone dispersed, leaving me shivering by the fountain. Use this. I turned to see Anna, our quiet class president, the straight-A student who wore long sleeves year-round. In our past life, she tried helping Sophia too, offering towels, urging her to report Ethan. Sophia had slapped her hand away. You don't understand. He's my prince. After that, Anna withdrew into solitude. Then, weeks before graduation, she killed herself. We later learned about her destitution, bedridden grandmother, gambling addict father who beat her and tried selling her to loan sharks. At that moment, Anna stood beside me holding a clean towel. I hesitated before taking it. Without another word, she turned to leave, probably thinking there was nothing to discuss with a privileged heiress like me. As her retreating figure neared the corridor's end, I suddenly called out, Anna. Her footsteps halted, scratching my head awkwardly. I continued, I'm new here and got lost. Could you show me where the cafeteria is? The cafeteria table held 4 dishes and soup, braised pork ribs, steamed meat custard, cola chicken wings, sautéed bok choy, and clamshell gourd soup, truly befitting the best high school in Riverton. The food lived up to its reputation. I scratched my neck sheepishly. Oops. Ordered too much. Hate wasting food. You haven't eaten either, right? Join me? Anna paused before picking up her chopsticks, nibbling delicately. Her bony wrists peeked from the uniform sleeves. Girls like her, unremarkable, enduring silently, became forgotten weeds in others' memories. Never the heroines of teen dramas. This time, I'd save us both. God. Conic sections are impossible. I groaned dramatically. You're top of the class. Anna. Tutor me? She nearly choked on her pork rib, eyes widening at my audacity. Seizing the moment, I slung an arm around her shoulders. Perfect. I'll pay hourly rates. I handed her an envelope stuffed with cash from my allowance, chump change to the Thompsons. But enough for Anna to buy her grandmother's medication, cover hospital bills, even rent an apartment away from her abusive father. Returning to the Thompsons' mansion that evening, I found empty halls. Mr. Thompson attended business dinners. Mrs. Thompson her spa appointments. Ethan would be dining at the Martinez's tonight. Last life. When their chauffeur dropped me off, the Martinezes had dragged Ethan inside for their Poverty Core family dinner, cracked walls and watery stews that somehow made the billionaire heir crave their authentic warmth. Right now, Ethan and Sophia were probably savoring their cabbage soup, believing they'd found genuine connection. I smirked while changing into Hermes silk pajamas, cleansing with Chanel face wash, sipping bird's nest soup brought by the housekeeper. Nobody knew the Martinez's secret. Poor but far from noble, they'd wanted to adopt a healthy boy initially. Settling for a pretty girl was strategic, future dowry bait. When they saw Ethan's luxury car that first time, dollar signs lit their eyes. Their loving family act existed solely to snare a rich son-in-law. Last life. When I refused to marry Ethan, Mrs. Martinez locked me in the basement while Mr. Martinez beat me bloody with a belt. Sophia thought she'd escaped to paradise now, unaware both our families were hellscapes, one gilded, one destitute. Survival depended on who clawed hardest through the flames. In the following days, Ethan's malice intensified. When I opened the lunchbox prepared by the housekeeper, it overflowed with thumbtacks. Dead spiders squirted out of my facial cleanser and toothpaste. My dresses hung in the closet, each bearing cigarette burn holes. Every time I flinched in shock, I'd meet Ethan's vicious grin as he mouthed, "Lily, you deserve this." He expected tears, but I calmly dumped the thumbtacks, tossed spiders into trash, and folded damaged dresses away. His smirk faded as he glared, hissing through clenched teeth, "Let's see how long you can keep pretending." This time, though enduring Ethan's cruelty, I received full access to the Thompson family resources. No more juggling school with chores for my adoptive mother, now a housekeeper tended my needs, with chauffeurs handling transportation. My sole focus became academics. Previously, saving for study materials meant hoarding coins while guarding against my alcoholic adoptive father's theft. Now, my walk-in closet overflowed with designer dresses, my jewelry box glittering with Van Cleef & Arpels and Cartier pieces casually gifted by Mrs. Thompson. Each month brought $5,000 cash allowance and a $10,000 limit credit card, replenished instantly upon request. Meanwhile, Sophia now endured the hardship I'd escaped. She slept through classes, exhausted from nightly chores. Homework went undone. Exams submitted blank. Where I'd once stabbed myself with compass needles to stay awake studying, Sophia, accustomed to privileged living, lacked such desperation. Why bother with academics when engagement to the Thompson heir promised greater rewards? She poured her energy into charming Ethan, scribbling diary entries for him during math class, skipping dance rehearsals to ride shotgun in his convertible beneath starry skies. Cue the meltdown before the dance recital. Sophia perched outside rehearsal studios, perfecting her tragic heroine act, head tilted at 45 degrees, tears pooling without falling. Right on cue, Ethan appeared. "What's wrong?" he demanded. Her dam broke theatrically. Lily revoked my performance spot. She sobbed into his chest. "Every girl's participating except me." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Why?" she said. Sophia bit her quivering lip. "My mom's a janitor. My dad's a security guard. But I can't afford the $800 costume and don't belong on stage." "I'll buy it," Ethan snapped. Sophia shook her head with martyrish dignity. "I can't accept such expensive." "Lily's gone too far," Ethan exploded. Tearfully, Sophia sighed. "She's your sister, the Thompson heiress. With your family's donations funding school buildings and your father as honorary trustee, who'd dare challenge her bullying?" Unnoticed by either, a passing journalist overheard. "Bullying?" The reporter leaned in, shark-smelling blood. "What bullying?" The situation escalated suddenly. The largest conference room at River City High was packed with people: the principal, vice principal, dean, homeroom teacher, reporters from various newspapers, and both the Thompsons and Martinezes. Mr. and Mrs. Martinez shielded their tear-streaked daughter Sophia in the corner, radiating indignation. The Thompsons had initially refused to come when hearing Lily caused trouble, but rushed over upon learning the newly appointed director of education had arrived. River City High being the city's top school made this a high-profile case. Mr. Thompson smoothly approached the director, their prior acquaintance evident. "Director, surely this minor children's squabble doesn't warrant your personal attention." The director cut him off sternly. "Bullying is never minor. Mr. Thompson, Lily is your daughter, but every student here deserves equal protection. I won't tolerate twisted saplings in my orchard." The Thompsons exchanged glances. I understood, if the bullying charges stuck, they'd disown their emotionally distant adopted daughter without hesitation. Meanwhile, Ethan stood beside the sniffling Sophia, murmuring comforts while shooting me icy looks. When the principal asked Sophia to recount events, she repeated her tearful accusations with downcast eyes. A journalist snapped. Our investigation shows Lily and Sophia were once foster sisters. Now that Lily's part of the wealthy Thompsons, does she think she can steal opportunities from her less fortunate former friend? Camera's word. The room held its breath. This narrative of privileged kids blocking upward mobility for poorer students was political dynamite. I laughed abruptly. Last I checked, I said, journalists were supposed to verify facts before running stories. Since when did single-source gossip become reporting? The red-faced reporter shrank back as I stood. Let me clarify. Sophia resents me because we started equal. Yet I got adopted into wealth. Her jealousy bred lies. Ethan interjected hotly. But Sophia chose. I silenced him with a look. Oh. I remembered. In our past life, she'd murdered me over this envy. Now she sought to climb via slander. If I destroyed her today, she'd brought it upon herself. Therefore, she couldn't possibly be someone who looks down on the poor. My argument was clearly twisting the truth. But before he could finish, the principal's office door slammed open. A slender figure stood outside, short hair. Silent. Like an unnoticed weed. Our homeroom teacher recognized her. Anna? What are you doing here? In the previous timeline, Anna would have already taken her own life by now. But in this life, she survived. Step by step, Anna walked in and stood beside me. She murmured, "I'm here to testify." Her sudden entrance left the journalists momentarily stunned. Someone asked, "Miss, are you here to testify about Lily bullying Sophia?" The assumption was obvious. Anna's worn clothes marked her as no wealthy heir, seemingly more aligned with Sophia's social circle. Anna glanced at the reporter and shook her head. "I'm here to testify for Lily." I stared at her in disbelief. Truthfully, I'd prepared extensively for this confrontation, but Anna wasn't part of my plan. We weren't exactly close. After I'd given her money for tutoring, she'd researched standard tutoring rates, calculated the exact hours, and refunded every extra cent. She arrived daily at 3:15 p.m. sharp, drilled me in math for 60 minutes, then left like clockwork, a human-shaped AI programmed for academic duty. In our past lives, Anna had jumped from the school roof weeks before college entrance exams. Her entire future hinged on earning scholarships to fund her grandmother's medical treatment. Then her gambling father got drunk on cheap liquor and shattered her writing hand, during one of his rages. What final humiliation broke her that day remained unknown. When they found her body, the perpetual silence around her deepened forever. This time, though we never became friends, I intervened. I hired neighborhood toughs to hospitalize Anna's father until exam season ended. To orchestrate this, I skipped evening self-study, only to get caught by Anna herself during attendance check. "Why'd you skip class?" she demanded, clipboard in hand. I scrambled for excuses, obviously healthy. No family emergency. Couldn't exactly say I'd been arranging her father's beating. Salvation came when the school office summoned her. "Anna." Phone call. It was news about her hospitalized father. She returned 5 minutes later, face impassive, picking up the attendance sheet, then setting it down. "I'll overlook it this time," she'd said evenly. "Don't skip again." Now, that same calm voice cut through the tense office. As Anna placed a stack of forms on the principal's desk, Sophia turned ghostly pale. Every dance studio reservation required paperwork, names, times, participants. Most found it tedious and stopped filing properly, relying on verbal agreements with the dance instructor. No one imagined Anna had meticulously preserved every signed form. Under the fluorescent lights, 30-odd sheets revealed the truth. Sophia's name appeared only twice. 2 rehearsals attended out of 30. Anna waited until everyone absorbed this before speaking. Sophia claimed that Lily mocked her for being unable to afford the performance costumes. which was why she wasn't allowed on stage. But when I told Lily I couldn't afford the outfits and wanted to quit, she insisted I keep rehearsing. The next day, I discovered she'd purchased costumes for everyone. Sophia also alleged that Lily bullied her because her father worked as a school janitor and her mother as a cleaner. Yet my own father didn't even have steady employment. Our whole family survived on grandma's welfare checks. Anna turned to me. If you supposedly target the poor, why not target me? Her raw vulnerability stunned everyone into silence. With a sigh, I pulled out my phone and played surveillance footage clearly showing Sophia missing beats, forgetting choreography, and lagging behind the group. Unsurprising, considering she'd skipped rehearsals to stargaze with Ethan. Truthfully, Sophia never cared about this performance until I cut her from the roster. She'd simply spun a sob story to Ethan about discrimination, hoping to make him despise me while boosting her own image. Neither of us anticipated this scandal would blow up, especially with my overwhelming evidence. I shouldn't have unilaterally removed her. But this dance competition offered specialized college admission bonuses crucial for 2 girls in our group aiming for art scholarships. Keeping Sophia would have jeopardized their futures. After the interview, public opinion flipped dramatically. Classmates began avoiding Sophia, whispering, "Don't get too close, she'll accuse you of classism over any disagreement." Rationally, her family wasn't even poor. Both parents had stable jobs. We had actual scholarship students on campus who never played victim. Some people just blame fate instead of working harder. Surprisingly, Sophia remained quiet through final exam preparations until graduation. Anna warned me, "Stay alert. She's plotting revenge." I shrugged, "Let her scheme. I can wait." I sensed Sophia's machinations, especially as Ethan's hostility escalated at home, where he'd previously hidden his cruelty from Mr. and Mrs. Thompson. Now he slammed his soup bowl during dinner, splashing scalding broth on my face. The housekeeper rushed over with ice packs while Mrs. Thompson kept sipping her soup, eyes downcast. Mr. Thompson merely muttered, "Mind your manners, Ethan. We're not savages." The Thompsons never cared about me. As their adopted daughter chosen per a fortune teller's advice, I was essentially a human money tree, decorative and supposedly auspicious. Last lifetime, Sophia tried bonding with them too. Futile effort. These people once forgot their biological son at summer camp for 3 weeks. Emotional appeals don't work in dynasties, only calculated interests matter. Setting down my ice pack, I announced calmly, "Mom, Dad, I scored 718 on the college entrance exams. State's top STEM student." 3 pairs of eyes snapped toward me. Chewing my bok choy leisurely, I continued, "You always said academics were our own responsibility, so I didn't mention it earlier. But my teacher just called journalists want parenting tips. Should I schedule interviews?" In my previous life, I'd aced exams despite working part-time. This time, relearning everything without obstacles sent my scores stratospheric. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson exchanged stunned glances across the dinner table. Before this, they had never paid attention to college entrance exams. Ethan had already secured admission to a university in Australia and would be sent abroad immediately after high school graduation, exempt from standardized testing. As for me, the adopted daughter left to fate, they couldn't be bothered to invest effort. No one expected I'd score so remarkably well. I wanted to apply to the prestigious business school at Peking University. I turned to Mr. Thompson. I planned to intern at the investment division of Dad's corporation during freshman year. Mr. Thompson paused briefly before smiling. "We appreciate your initiative. Congratulations." Lily, Mrs. Thompson. Fetch the Bordeaux from my trunk. Hasn't our Lily turned 18? Let's celebrate properly tonight. Ignoring Ethan's thunderous glare, I clinked glasses with the Thompsons, graciously acknowledging their guidance. My gamble had succeeded. The Thompsons cared nothing for an ordinary adopted child, but the state's top exam scorer? That meant family prestige, educational bragging rights, and political capital. They opened multiple vintage bottles, scheduled press interviews, and retired tipsy after finalizing media plans. Only Ethan and I remained at the dining table. The chandelier cast angular shadows across Ethan's chiseled features, inherited from Mrs. Thompson's striking bone structure. His icy gaze locked onto me. "Lily, do you really think this makes you part of the Thompson family?" I adjusted my chair with practiced poise before leaning close. "You should understand, Ethan, it's your parents begging to claim me as their own now." When collecting transcripts at school, I found Sophia watching from the shadows, resentment twisting her features. She'd obviously seen the televised interview, Mrs. Thompson's arm around my shoulders. Mr. Thompson lecturing reporters about nurturing excellence. Our staged family portrait beaming like catalog models. "This was never yours in any lifetime," she hissed. I shrugged. "Study hard. Aim high. Believe it?" Her scoff followed me down the hallway. "Even if they love you, it changes nothing. Ethan's heart belongs to me." Perfect. The classic star-crossed lovers narrative, defying family opposition. Battling the world for romance. I almost wished them well. 10 minutes later, the romantic lead himself materialized. Ethan approached with his entourage, cornering me in the deserted East Wing corridor. My stomach dropped as I noticed the disabled security cameras, meticulously planned isolation. "Time to wake from your Cinderella delusion," Ethan murmured. His lackey yanked my hair, slamming my skull against concrete. Plaster dust snowed down as the impact echoed. My vision swam with stars from the pain, yet I found strength from somewhere to kick the lackey square in the groin. A howl pierced the air as he crumpled to the ground. Features contorted. Ethan's face darkened as he motioned for others to advance. That's when I pulled the wine bottle from my backpack, a gift from Mr. Thompson for tonight's gathering. Shattering it against the wall, I brandished the jagged neck at the dozen boys. "Come on!" My hair hung in filthy strands coated with plaster dust. Warm blood trickled from my nose to my chin. I must have looked deranged enough to freeze them all mid-step, wiping crimson streaks across my face. I laughed. "Hypocrite? That's rich coming from you, Ethan. Let's say I'm fake. At least my fake's donated to charity. What's your noble cause ever accomplished?" "Oh wait, just rescuing your precious damsel?" Sophia shrank into the shadows. As if I hadn't noticed her earlier. Of course she'd stick around for Ethan's grand performance. Blood kept dripping. I stopped bothering. "Ethan." I addressed the mob calmly. "You brought an army. Better finish this today. Because if I walk out," my smile vanished, "I'll drag you straight to hell with me." Pallor washed over his face. Sophia was right. The Thompson family's influence let Ethan bully freely as long as no one died. But murder? Even he wasn't that reckless. "You're not worth the trouble," he finally muttered. I barked laughter. "This is your idea of scheming? Want a real masterclass?" Delicious shivers ran through me. Those journalists investigating bullying? I invited them. Both Ethan and Sophia froze. Think it's coincidence they happened to overhear complaints? I anonymously tipped off every major paper about Jiangqing Hai's bullying epidemic. Knew Sophia's pea-brain would run to you after I cut her from the dance showcase. Perfect timing. Her whining overlapped with their undercover investigation. Ethan turned ashen. Of course I had counter-evidence ready. But once journalists clear me, where do you think they'll look next? I tilted my blood-smeared face. Remember the education superintendent's speech? He'll crucify any confirmed bully. Even Daddy Thompson can't save you then. I smiled sweetly at the panicking boys. That's how you scheme, Ethan. Real consequences. Not your playground tantrums. Murmurs erupted among his crew. What if they're still here? Ethan? This could follow us forever. These weren't Thompson heirs. Just hangers-on who'd followed Ethan's lead. But after witnessing the press ambush that nearly destroyed me a nominal Thompson, they finally grasped the stakes. My fabricated scandal had been surgical. The investigation that exonerated me now loomed over Ethan like Damocles' sword, a public reckoning no family name could shield. So, dear brother, please cherish me, take care of me, and support my work at Thompson Group. I leaned closer to Ethan, smiling radiantly. Or I'll drag the entire Thompson family down with me. My smile vanished abruptly as I tapped the broken bottle against Ethan's neck before turning to leave. No one dared stop me. Only Sophia's tearful voice echoed behind us. Ethan, how could you let her walk away like this? Ethan's icy, irritated growl cut through the air. Get out. Ethan suddenly became obedient. In the past, he'd never allowed me to attend any Thompson family events. This time, when invited to a gala, he proactively told Mrs. Thompson, I'll take my sister with me. Mom, please pick out an evening gown for her. Over the phone, I heard Sophia arguing with him, if you're bringing a date, shouldn't it be me? Ethan sounded exasperated. I'm already funding your studies in Australia. What more do you want? Sophia had bombed her college entrance exams. Even in her previous life, she'd been a poor student obsessed with currying favor with the Thompsons. Now facing tougher academic challenges, her grades plummeted further. Her only lifeline was clinging to Ethan. But I could tell he was growing weary. Sophia initially captivated Ethan with her poor but principled act, the struggling girl who rejected luxury gifts. But that wasn't her true nature. People can fake it temporarily, not perpetually. Ethan fell for the girl who refused designer handbags, not the one begging to tag along to Australia. The problem was, Sophia could only maintain the first facade temporarily. Desperation forced her true colors to show. She had no alternatives if Ethan abandoned her. After summer break, Sophia accompanied Ethan to Australia. Though Ethan never officially acknowledged her as his girlfriend, the Martinez parents grew impatient. They hired paparazzi to photograph the pair dining together, leaking the photos online with the caption "Frowny face Thompson heir spotted with childhood sweetheart." Mr. Thompson threw his phone across the room upon reading the report. Cheap tactics. She's not even graduated yet and already scheming to marry into our family? When Ethan returned home, his father berated him. If you want to marry, wait for proper arrangements from your mother and me. Date around if you must, but not this trashy gold digger. Ethan endured the tirade in silence, his gaze repeatedly drifting toward me as I studied financial reports nearby. The Martinez parents had pulled similar stunts in our past life, nearly drugging me to force a relationship with Ethan. As for the Thompsons, they'd vehemently opposed Ethan marrying beneath his status before their untimely deaths. Mr. Thompson banned Ethan from seeing Sophia during breaks. Ethan complied, remaining home and showering me with expensive gifts, diamond earrings for my birthday, waiting outside bars in his Porsche to drive me home after late nights with friends. Anna sipped her virgin mojito beside me, watching Ethan chain smoke outside. When she opened her mouth to comment, I stopped her. I know what you're going to say. Don't worry, I've got this handled. Later, settling into the passenger seat, Ethan handed me a paper bag containing hangover remedy and my favorite pastry shop's cheesecake. I laughed. Ethan, this isn't necessary. He wordlessly accelerated, the silence thickening until we reached home. Both the remedy and cake went straight into the trash. Ethan stood nearby watching but didn't speak until the end. I returned to my room, not wanting to deal with him. Anna was studying computer science at MIT next door. Recently she developed a program that could enhance corporate personnel management efficiency. This presented a perfect opportunity to start our own venture. I'd already interned for nearly 3 years in the strategic investment department of the Thompson family's conglomerate. Gaining some influence, I decided to allocate $2 million to Anna to co-found a company. She'd handle technology while I managed business operations. With so much on my plate lately, Ethan seemed utterly insignificant by comparison. I hadn't expected Sophia to witness Ethan driving me home. She hadn't seen him in so long that she'd been waiting at the gates of the gated community, hoping to catch a glimpse of him, just in time to see me stepping out of Ethan's car. I could imagine the terror flashing through Sophia's heart in that moment. She was probably reliving that scene from her past life, Ethan sneering as he stripped her of everything, then turning to tenderly drape a wedding veil over me. That was her deepest nightmare. Early Monday morning, after meeting with prospective clients, I left the corporate building clutching documents. At the stairwell landing, I encountered a familiar figure. Sophia had lost weight. Her cheeks were slightly hollowed, eyes webbed with red veins. Yet she remained beautiful, that delicate oval face with doll-like eyes, like a celebrity torn from a magazine spread. Back at the orphanage, Sophia had been the prettiest among all the children. Nearly every adoptive family would spot her first. If not for her sky-high standards, she'd have been adopted long ago. Perhaps that's why her resentment burned so fiercely. Sophia approached me step by step, stopping an arm's length away. Her heels gave her a slight height advantage over my business flat-clad self. She declared, "I'm pregnant." "It's Ethan's." I replied, "Is that so? Then you really shouldn't be wearing such high heels." Sophia scrutinized my face, searching for any flicker of emotion. She found nothing. Losing composure first, she demanded, "Lily, what other tricks do you have up your sleeve? What method did you use to steal Ethan from me? In this life, he was supposed to love me. You should be the person he despises most. He shouldn't leave you a single cent in the future. Why? Why does he grow colder toward me even after I studied every method you used to win his favor in the past life and replicated them all? What secret tactics are you still hiding from me?" Observing the sobbing wreck before me, I finally sighed after a long pause. "Excuse me. I have another client to visit." Sophia looked up. "Lily, you won't talk? Fine." In that instant, I sensed danger. Too late. Sophia lunged forward, wrapping me in a vice-like embrace before throwing herself backward. We tumbled down the stairs together. The crash echoed as Sophia and I landed in a heap at the base. My skull must have struck the railing. Darkness flooded my vision. White-hot pain exploded from my knees, leaving me uncertain which limb still functioned. Through the swirling darkness, I heard Sophia's tear-choked cry, "Ethan." With great effort, I lifted my head. The blurred figure before me resolved into Ethan. Blood spread beneath Sophia's skirt. She wept. "Ethan, our baby, it's gone. Your sister pushed me. She said our child would dilute her inheritance." Ethan's face turned ashen. After an eternity, he knelt down. He picked me up. Sophia widened her eyes in shock. She stared at Ethan in disbelief and pleaded hoarsely. "Ethan," Ethan said coldly. "Sophia, you disgust me." Sophia began trembling violently. This was her nightmare. In our previous life, Ethan had often told her those exact words, "Sophia, you disgust me." This lifetime had different choices, different circumstances. Yet why did it end the same way? Sophia seemed to go mad, screaming hysterically. Why? I chose right this time. Why does every path lead here? I didn't hear the rest. The dizziness intensified as darkness swallowed the world. The sterile scent of disinfectant filled the hospital room. When I opened my eyes, Ethan sat by my bed. He murmured, "Sophia called me there, probably planning to frame you. But I arrived early and heard your entire conversation. Lily, just focus on recovering. Also, that child she claimed was mine? She drugged my juice." My leg and skull throbbed. But I interrupted bluntly. "Are you explaining yourself to me?" Ethan froze. I pulled the blanket higher. "If Mr. and Mrs. Thompson demand answers, that's your business. Why tell me?" After prolonged silence, He whispered. I want to break up with her. The awkward pause stretched until I chuckled. Even less relevant to me. Ethan looked up desperately. Lily. Don't you understand what I'm saying? I met his gaze calmly, as hope brightened his eyes. I laughed aloud. Of course I do. Ethan. You're the world's greatest master of self-sabotage. The light died in his eyes. Minutes passed before he rasped. I've made terrible mistakes. But I'll spend my whole life trying to earn your forgiveness. When you first came to our family, I hated you. Yet somehow, I grew obsessed. That day you threatened to drag the Thompsons to hell in the school hallway? Instead of anger, I saw someone strong, fearless, blazing with life. Exactly what I love. His head bowed as he murmured. Lately I keep dreaming we're married. I hold your hand and promise everything I have is yours. Lily, we could be so happy, I chuckled. Well, Ethan, we could be happy together. Here's the deal, go drink all the toilet water. And I'll consider it. Deal? Ethan left. He said he understood I couldn't forgive him immediately. But he'd wait. After Ethan exited the hospital room, Anna came in. I glanced at her. Heard everything? Every word. What do you want to say to me now? I need to know if that morning client's interest level is truly above 50%. And when we can finalize the contract. You heartless thing. Shouldn't you at least ask when I'm getting discharged first? I already asked the doctor at the door. He said the day after tomorrow. I've adjusted our work schedule accordingly. The next roadshow's tentatively set for 3 days from now. Not even giving me extra rest days? Unnecessary. I know what matters most to you. That's why you're my business partner. I smiled approvingly. With such an exceptional collaborator, financial success was inevitable. After the roadshow, I carved out a day to visit Sophia at the hospital. Having lost her baby, she lay listlessly in bed, her face gaunt. Ethan had already broken up with her. Throughout her hospitalization, the Martinez family hadn't visited once. The only visitors came from an unexpected quarter, the orphanage director and several fellow orphans. Lily helped cover our travel expenses. She's been donating to us for years. Thanks to her, Xiao Duo and Lily's conditions have improved significantly. The director explained. Sophia blinked in surprise. Most orphanage children never found adoptive families. They'd been abandoned for physical disabilities, cognitive impairments, or terminal illnesses. Compared to them, Sophia and I had been extraordinarily fortunate, healthy and presentable. Back then, the director told us we were one big family, all siblings. Yet after leaving the system, Sophia never looked back. Ironically, in my previous life I'd volunteered regularly. After joining the Thompson family in this lifetime, I'd made substantial donations specifically for disabled children's medical care. Watching these children stumble through their earnest praise of Big Sister Lily, Sophia suddenly burst into tears. She wept so long that even after the orphanage group left and I approached her bedside, she remained unaware. I waited calmly until her sobs subsided. Finally, Sophia covered her face and whispered, "You must hate me terribly." Before I could respond, she rushed on. "I hate you too. All I wanted was a better life. What's wrong with that? I considered this. Nothing's wrong. You just chose the wrong methods." Sophia glared through red-rimmed eyes. "Because I'm not as kind? Not as pure? Not as charitable as you?" I shook my head. "No. You're a real mistake. Both in our past life and this one, is always trying to take what belongs to others. Why should anyone surrender their slice of cake to you? Even if they did, how would you know it wasn't poisoned? The solution is to bake your own. You're one to talk." Sophia's voice cracked. "Don't pretend you didn't want the Thompson fortune." "I didn't," I said simply. "The $200. I took from Thompson Enterprises was repaid with interest after my company with Anna became profitable. As for the jewelry Mrs. Thompson gave me, all valuable pieces are securely stored with detailed inventories. I intend to make a clean break from the Thompsons. The reason was simple. The Thompson family made their fortune in real estate. Over the past 3 decades of land grabs and construction projects, there'd been accidents, deaths, and countless shady dealings. Mr. Thompson had the means to suppress these scandals temporarily, but not forever. Money stained with blood and corruption always brings consequences. When the reckoning came, everyone connected to Thompson Enterprises would face prison. Sophia couldn't comprehend this. She stared at me blankly before whispering, 2 lifetimes. And I've lost to you both times. I shook my head gently and leaned closer. This was why I'd come, to tell Sophia what needed saying. Sophia, you've spent both lifetimes snapping at my heels like I'm your greatest enemy. But ask yourself, who truly ruined you these past 2 lives? Was it really me? It struck her like lightning. She trembled violently, collapsing into loud sobs. I turned and left without looking back. Time flew. On the day Lily and I took our company public, news broke. At Thompson Enterprises headquarters, Sophia had stabbed Ethan. Anna stood beside me as we watched the report, Sophia already in custody. Ethan fighting for his life in surgery. Anna glanced at the screen once before looking away. I teased her. Aren't you going to ask if I'm worried about Ethan? You're not worried, she stated flatly. But he loved me deeply later. Didn't he? Anna's expression remained impassive. Lily, I'd rather you accept loan shark money than take love from trash. Also, let me review your speech draft again before the press conference. I counted 6 problematic sentence pauses. Yes, ma'am. As the world's largest industry summit commenced under dazzling lights, Anna and I prepared to take the stage as the youngest and most watched female entrepreneurs. Camera flashes poised to immortalize our moment. Anna stood tall in her snow-white suit. That once invisible weed from our school days now an unshakable pine weathering blizzards. My black silk gown shimmered discreetly, starlight finally visible after endless nights. Anna, nervous? I asked before catching myself. Never mind. AI doesn't get nervous. Dumb question. Silence. Then Anna grasped my hand, warmth spreading from her palm. Lily, don't be nervous. The curtain rose. Our names blazed across massive LED screens as we walked toward thunderous applause hand in hand. Our company kept growing. Ethan survived his injuries, fitting. Since someone needed to answer for Thompson Enterprises' sins. Sophia went to prison. She wrote me letters from jail, saying she wanted to volunteer at orphanages if ever released, to spend her remaining years making amends. She signed them sister. I stored those letters away. Emotions tangled, as orphanage children clustered around me. Lily, what are you reading? They chirped. I shook my head, nothing. Today, Anna and I visited the orphanage together to meet with the director. We'll establish a charitable fund in our company's name to help children who aren't adopted, while also providing continued support for those who were adopted but later faced difficulties. Under the blazing sunshine of this clear day, we finally stepped into the future we'd been longing for.